Howdy, howdy, howdy. How's everybody doing? It's hot here. It finally got hot. It got like to 85. And I know that's not hot compared to where a lot of y'all are, where it's 117 in southern Arizona, but y'all have zero humidity. And then it's 100, I don't know, 2 or whatever in the East Coast. Y'all have got a lot of humidity. So you're probably not too interested in listening to me gripe about how hot it is here because it got all the way up to 85. It's starting to cool off a little bit now. But I kid. How is everybody? I'm I'm doing okay. I ain't gonna lie. I'm a little, I don't know what the word, not severely triggered, but miffed, aggravated. Yet at the same time, I'm pleased. Starting tomorrow, I'm going to be entering my 4th week of being quasi voluntarily homeless here in this beautiful neck of the woods in the Bighorn Mountains in northern Wyoming. And people have asked me, what do you mean by quasi voluntarily homeless? Well, I don't have to be homeless right now. That doesn't mean I'm rich because I've been through the family court, which is the topic of today's hammock chat, which I'll get to in a minute. I could pull out what little I've got left. Oh my God, the crypto market is just taking a beating right now. Alts are so down. But I've got all the faith in the world, or at least most of the faith in the world, it's going to go up. And maybe here in just a few months, I could be a several hundred thousandaire, possibly a small lower millionaire. And yes, there will be signs. But I could pull it all out and I could move into town somewhere and go get a job. I won't go back to Odessa. I just simply refuse. I won't go back to the South at all. I've made up my mind. I'd rather die on this mountain 10 years before my time than ever go back to the South. I hate the South. I can't stand the heat and the concentration of people and sirens and traffic and overzealous cops. I'd rather shorten my life and live up here in peace and be broke as shit. But I could go to, I don't know, just some northern town like Billings. I don't like Billings like at all. It's the same size as Odessa. It's kind of hot, it's crowded, I can say that there are a lot of homeless people because I am myself, but I'm talking about homeless like drunks and twerkers and or what not twerkers, tweakers, people on drugs, passed out, and I mean, I could move to Billings. I could like get a job. There is no oil field that I'm aware of. So since I'm not specialized in anything else, I could go get a job for 20 bucks an hour, make 800 bucks a week and have uh, 200 taken out taxes and another 200 taken out in child support and left with about 1600 a month and then go get an apartment that I'm not qualified to because my credit shot because I've been drugged through the family court, the extortionists in the family court. So I'd have to figure out some weird place to live, and then out of that 1600 I take home, working a shit job that I hate around people I don't know and probably won't like anyways. That would take most of the rent for the rest of the 1600 for rent, and then I don't know what I'd do for food. Don't know how I'd pay my phone bill. So that's why I just have it. Out of all the crap that I've been through, I feel real fortunate what little my YouTube channel does pay. It barely lets me eat and pay my phone bill and live up here in in this. And if the crypto market farts and falls, I may have no choice. I may be moving somewhere else and getting a job or working my magic somehow. I have no idea. But at the moment, I'm still not giving up on the crypto market actually taking off in the near future. So anyway, that gets me back to my topic of today's topic. And by the way, if you're new here, and probably not because I've got a whopping 18 of you at the moment, I still don't understand how I get 2,000 new subscribers every single month. And no matter what I do, I just don't get. I don't know why my channel just doesn't have a reach, but it doesn't. If you're new, yes, I'm Parker and Hayden, Blaine's and Len's dad. And I don't talk about my cheerings and how they're doing now. I will occasionally, if you want to ask me something at the end when I get done rambling, I'll answer whatever you. I don't care what you ask, but the only thing I won't talk about is how my children are now, or their relationship with other people, including their mother. So today's fireside chat or hammock chat is about the reason most fathers just simply don't put up much of a fight. And the short answer is because they don't want to end up like me, homeless in the forest. And I can't say that I blame them. And I'm not going to sit here and lie and tell or pretend like deadbeat dads, real genuine deadbeat dads don't exist, because I know they do. I know a lot of them. Douchebags. But there's also, I'm not going to sit here and agree with all the commie feminists and say that just because your relationship has failed, that he is an awful person and a shitty deadbeat dad, because I know that's not true either. I know a lot of them as well. Then a lot of men get screwed in the family court. And it's no secret, it's 90% men get screwed in the court and 80 or 10% mothers. I'm fully aware that there are good mothers that get screwed just as badly, if not worse, than I did in family court. When I talk about things that I talk about, I speak in generalities with knowing, acknowledging that there are always exceptions. And I just get so tired of the people that yell at me for saying, hey, Caleb, not all. That not all argument. Not all women are like that, Caleb. Not all mothers do that, Caleb. Not all lawyers are evil, Caleb. Not all. The not all argument is just so old, and it's like people just want to argue for no reason. I'm making general statements about what's usually true. And usually it's 70% of the time the mothers are initiating divorce. And it's usually the mothers get the custody of the children 90% of the time. And it's usually the father, who is typically the breadwinner of the family, that has to pay child support. And if you're wondering, if you're new, again, if you wonder why, I always do child support in air quotes. I know it's showing my age because I'm old. I know I am. Um, Child support is for deadbeat, absent fathers who've never had a relationship with their child, and before the divorce or the split up, or after the divorce and after the split up. That's what child support's for. That's for the mother having made a terrible decision to sleep with that guy and make a baby with him. It's to help her out, which, I'm kind of on the fence about it, but just for the argument's sake, yeah, okay, they deserve that. He deserves to have to pay, she deserves to get it. The people like me who simply had a relationship with a woman that I wasn't compatible with get dissolved because we were incompatible, who showed up no matter what, in my opinion, should not ever have to pay child support to her. When the children were with me, which was about in the beginning when I got first, third, and fifth weekends, I got every Thursday. And when I had them on Thursdays, they stayed the night. I had them from Thursday when they got out of school until Monday when I took them back to school, first, third, and fifth weekends. I had them a lot, plus a month in the summer. That's what I started out with. And yet, I was ordered to pay $2,625 per month in 2007 because that was the maximum for 4 children that the state required. At the time, I was making really good money. Not great, not anywhere near what she pretended I made, but I was making good money. 250,000 working as a field mechanic. I'm a fourth generation field guy. I was in business for myself. I performed about 5,000 to 6,000 field jobs in my 25-year career as a Caterpillar diesel engine field service mechanic. Now I'm 47 and my back hurts and I'm just old and I've had my ass kicked, and that's why I'll never go back to Texas. I'll never do it. I don't care if they offered me a $500,000 a year plus a house and a truck. I wouldn't take it because I'm deeply troubled by it. But anyway, the reason most men that just simply comply when they get divorced, yeah, they might hire a lawyer. They might, spend a couple grand, 10 grand maybe on a lawyer, maybe a little bit. But most men will not go to the extent that I did, simply because when you do, you get made an example of, and you get thrown in jail, and you wind up losing your house and your job or your business, your vehicles. Your name is trashed in the community. And people they've told me this. They've watched my channel like, there's a reason, Caleb, that old phrase, cheaper to keep her. I've watched your shit. Oh my God, I'd die if I had to go through that. And I can't say that I blame them. Some men just go ahead and just live a miserable life with some wicked witch that tricked him into marrying her, and they have to live with that. I'm just not one of those guys. I'm not made that way. I tried for 10 years. I thought I was doing the right thing. Like I said, I've said this a jillion times. We literally got in our first fight on our honeymoon, on the flight, in the air, over the Gulf of Mexico, or the Caribbean, on our way to land in Jamaica. That's where we got in our first fight. I'm not kidding. But I was young and dumb and naive. And anyway, obviously, if you're watching this, you've probably seen my channel. I've documented all the BS that I was forced to go through. And I'm not going to sit here and say I was innocent on everything and I never did anything wrong, because that's bull crap. I started dealing with my problems when they stole Parker from me with alcohol, and it was the wrong thing to do. But while we were married, we never drank. Candace and I drank, maybe a little in the early years when she was 18, I was 20, like when we got married. But 99.9% of the time we were married, we never drank. We never kept alcohol in the house. But I mean, she got pregnant with Parker, like he was born like right before my 22nd birthday. We were young, like young, which is why I don't advise men to get married that young. Girls, y'all can get married that young, and you probably should. But men, no. Men don't even, it's a well-known fact, me not being a scientist, that women develop quicker and earlier in life than men. Men don't even fully have their brain. So I've read by other scientists, that of which I am not, they're not even fully developed till they're like 25. So at the bare minimum, no man should ever get married before then. And even then, your goal, young man, if you're going to listen, if you just listen to me, take my word for this, or not, repeat what I did. I mean, it doesn't hurt me, but if I were you, I would stick to focusing on your passion and making money and building your kingdom. And then when you reached a net worth of, 200, 300, 500, a million bucks, then in your 30, 28, 30, 32, then you start shopping around for a wife. And when you find a wife that is probably younger and prettier, because you're in your prime, you're 30 years old, you're successful, you've got some money, you've paid your bills, you don't have a bunch of cheerings by random women everywhere, you're what they call a high value man. And a high value man that is worth his salt, who's intelligent, when you find her, you will insist, absolutely insist, that she sign a prenuptial agreement. And I know that's going to tick off a lot of ladies, but that's just life. That's the world in which we live now. And not being, I'm going to kill a fly one of these days. Not being a lawyer myself, but a lot of people, I've realized, young dudes don't realize, damn it, what a prenuptial agreement is. In layman's terms, it's an agreed upon contract signed by a man, and I'll just give this example. A man who's 30 years old, who's got a net worth of $1 million, that wants to get married to a woman that he loves, but he still doesn't want to have all his shit taken from him if she decides to pull the rug. And don't deny that doesn't happen, because that's common. It's if you are already worth a significant amount of money. If you're broke, a lot of young men really think this. I had to teach my own kids this. If you're broke, dude, A, you'd have no business getting married in the first place. And B, there's no point in spending $1,000, $5,000. I don't know what the going rate for a lawyer is on that. There's no point in spending several $1,000s on a prenuptial agreement if you're broke, because you're broke. She's not marrying you for your money. She's marrying you probably because she loves you. But anything you make after that marriage is called community property. And community property is divisible if the relationship dissolves. If you have the prenuptial agreement and you're smart young men and never have been married before age 30, and you've acquired some wealth, $500,000, $1 million, before you get the contract signed, before you put a baby in that belly, you put your assets in LLCs and you hire a good lawyer that knows what he's doing to do it. And then you get the prenuptial agreement that has your assets listed within the LLC, listed in the prenuptial agreement. And that way, if she's really clever, and I've known some clever ones that have pulled the rug out from under me, then yeah, anything you acquire afterwards, you buy a second house, you buy a resort property, you buy a bunch of vehicles, you get some IRAs, whatever later, then she gets half of that. And your kids and your soul and whatever else she wants to go for, that the family court will inevitably help her with, because that's what they're set up for. Then she can get it. But everything you preserved in that prenuptial agreement through the LLCs that are tied to it, then you're safe. And I know there's a lot of people that say, well, that's not biblical, and they bring in all these reasons why a man should be absolutely careless and not protect himself. And I think you're a fool if you do that. Absolute fool. And if you don't go that route, you're going to be, you risk getting screwed in the family court horribly. And all you have to do is watch my channel. Watch what happened to me. And now look at me, 47 years old, and this is a significant, outside of my investment in crypto, this hammock is a significant portion of my net worth. When you take the crypto out, I got a $2,000 junky car, a hammock, and a tent, and some camping supplies, and that's it. This is what's going to happen if you don't listen to me. I say this not to scare people and sound all doom and gloom, because eventually I know things are going to get better. But I promise you this, I'd bet my life on this. Things are going to get far worse in the world before they get better. They will get better. I really hope it happens in my lifetime. I don't see it happening until I'm probably in my 60s or 70s, but I think it will eventually get better. And it will be a time of prosperity where young people get together and make babies and have a family, and there's not as much of the conning and the family court crap as there is today. But until that happens, men, it's scary out there. There are too many crazy 304s. Obviously, not all women are 304s, obviously. But also, obviously, a bunch of them are. A whole bunch of them are. And you got to protect yourself. I don't fall into that Andrew Tate camp of go out and make as many babies as you can, have 25 sons and 30 daughters, and the Dave Ramsey, I don't fall into that at all. I think you're nuts to start out right out of high school, get a job, and get married at 22. She can marry the 30-year-old that's got his crap together. She can marry at 20, 22. I don't see a problem with that at all. Women, they're the only ones that can reproduce. They're the only ones that can grow the babies. Men can't. And even that cuts off in their late 40s, some maybe 50s for a few of them if they take care of themselves. You got a smaller window. You got a small window. So, yeah, and girls, if this is just me, just talking out my ass, if I was you, I wouldn't date men your age. I just wouldn't do it. Young men, 20, 22 years old, full of piss and vinegar. Their brains aren't even developed yet, and they've got one thing on their mind, and it's shaped like a vagina. And it rhymes with vagina. That's all that's on their mind, usually. So I wouldn't, if I was a young girl, that's not what I'd look for. I'd look for 30 plus. Somebody's got his crap together, doesn't live in mommy's basement, it's got dreams and aspirations, and goes out and kills shit and drags it home and builds things and creates things. It's responsible. If you're religious, you better go ahead and look for someone of the same religion. If you're Catholic, you're probably better off finding a Catholic boy. If you're agnostic, you're probably better off finding an agnostic. If you're a Baptist or a Christian, anyway, you get the point. But men are immature and childish. I'm still childish. I brag about, having. I want to be childish on my deathbed. Hopefully, I live to be in my 90s, and I'm going to be childish. But obviously, I've got a serious side too. But boys are child. They're boys. They're boys. They're still young men are just still boys when they're 20, like I was at 22 or 20. I was 21, almost 22, and I had Parker. I had no business having children then. That's just how I see it. I wished I would have waited. Obviously, wished I would have picked better. My woman picker sucks. But anyway, my whole point on the rant on this was just there's a reason most men don't choose the route I did. It's because they look and see what I'm doing now. And yeah, I mean, there's some plus sides to it. I'm living willy nilly, free. I don't have to hardly answer to anybody for anything. And that is freeing. I'm not going to lie. But I mean, I don't have my cushy bed. I miss my cushy bed like a lot. So I can't wait for the crypto market to blow up so I can get me another cushy bed and start building a business and start doing things that I want to do instead of being so idle. I ain't gonna lie, it's been nice, relaxing, but we got a hot day today and the wind, it's calm now, but it was blowing. All the pine trees are they're 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 pollinating, and like it looks like when a gust comes through, like 30-mile-an-hour gust, it looks like a dust storm. It just blows all the pollen off, and apparently it makes a lot of people sick. But knock on wood, it hadn't made me sick at all. Like it's like dusty, like everything's covered in it. My tent, when it rains, it's like you can see it all stuck to it. I'm just real fortunate it doesn't affect me like that. And also the cottonwood trees are blooming in town, and it's everywhere. It looks like little pieces of cotton just blowing around everywhere. And people say, even locals that are from here, say, "Oh, I hate the cottonwood trees because just my allergy." And you can see their noses running. I'm like, shit, I'm not even from here. It doesn't bother me at all. But the elevation doesn't bother me. I love the elevation. I love the cottonwoods. I love the pines. Last night I got woke up by I'd fallen asleep on my belly for some reason. I don't usually do that. And I woke up about an hour later around midnight and I heard a crack, and that's what woke me up. And I was like, what the hell? And then I heard a big, large mammal sniffing. I was like, oh my Christ, there's a bear out there. And it kept sniffing. I heard slow walking, but then I heard the sound of grass being ripped and chewed. And had I not spent so much time around Parker and those horses that he raises and listening to the way them horses, they grab it and they chomp and then they flick their jaw or flick their teeth and they cut it and they chew it. Well, deer eat the same way. I think I would have probably shit myself because that was whatever. It might have been a moose. I haven't seen moose. I have heard some elk. I haven't seen the elk, but I've heard them in the middle of the night bugling. And not that an elk is necessarily, it's not a predator, but if I startled it, it's got some big ass tines. I didn't want to get stuck. Or if obviously it was a bear, I didn't want to get turned into bear sandwich. So Anyway, it's fun. There are fun times about it, but there's little things like that that I'm like, I'm ready, so ready for the bull run. I need to cash out, get my house or my land or whatever it is I'm going to do, because I would really like to build my own cabin, like chop down my own trees, notch them out. I've been watching a lot of videos about it, notching them out and building my own small cabin, because I don't want a big mansion, because I don't want to pay taxes on it. But anyway, there's things that I want to do with my life other than just sit here waiting. But anyways, we're 25 minutes in. Dang, we got up damn near to 50 people for a minute there. That's a lot for us, for me. All right, I'm going to start from the very beginning, because that just seems to work the best. And I'm just going to start reading them out. And if you got any questions regarding things I talked about, or things that you've got questions in your life, what would you do? What would I do if I was in your shoes? The only thing I will not talk about is how my cheer-ins are today. They're, other than to say they're fine. Hello, Miss Dannon. It's 85 inside my apartment right now. Yuck. I'm glad I don't have an electric bill where I have to pay that. And there's Panna. It's 90 something here in New York. Yuck. Serenity McAllister says hi. Don't mind me. How you doing? I'm doing well, actually. I know I gripe a little bit, but I'm actually doing pretty well. Chase Pinkowski says, hello, Caleb. Panna, I've been a little aggravated lately, but what are you aggravated about? I'm aggravated at these flies. Ben's YouTube for life. Howdy, old man. JK, you're not old, looking great. Looking great, brother. Well, thank you. Ben's Ben's YouTube. I can take a joke. When old Skippy, old shithead Mazin's here, he's usually the one giving me shit about being old, but it's all good. He's a good kid and I like him. Shelly, hi Caleb and chat. Hope everyone's having a great weekend. Hello, Miss Shelly. Shelly's one of the newer ones that she just caught my eye, because she like binge watched my entire channel last week or week before last. Empire Base Sports Live. Live on the boat again. No, I'm done. I'm done with boats. I don't regret my time on my boat, but I've learned that my white ass needs to be on the northern latitude, because I can't stand the heat and the humidity. Right now, the humidity, I'm gonna guess 40, maybe 50. Like, it's low, like real low. Like, we had a big rain 2 nights ago, and like big rain. Like, before the sun went down, I was stuck in my tent, so I didn't get wet. And now the ground's just powder dry. It doesn't take long, because I just like the cooler. Again, today's 85. It's 95 in Buffalo. Like, you go down 6 or 8, 10 miles to town that away, and you're losing 3,000 feet in elevation. It's 10 degrees hotter there. So I'm glad it only got to 85. It's cool. It's already cooling off. It's going down. And even if like times got desperate, you would not go back to Odessa? Hell no. Nope. I won't go back. I hate it. I'm done. I think I've generally got PTSD from that shithole. Texas, in its entirety, is a shithole, and that makes a lot of people mad, because especially Republicans. I am generally a Republican-ish type person, more libertarian type. I'm not quite the anarchist I used to be, because it's just full of fools. But I'm definitely not a wokey. But it makes Republicans mad when I shit on Texas like that, because they agree with me on a lot of things, like, go Caleb, go get them in the family court. And then I say, well, let's look at where did this family court stuff, where did this stem from? Why is it like this? Why is there such thing as modern women foolishly believing that they're owed money from child support if the dad shows up? And so I started doing my research, and come to find out all this exists because of Title 4D of the Social Security Act. And then I start looking into Ken Paxton, who's literally got Title 4D on his website, and he enforces it. That's why it sucks like this. But since it's their guy, it's their party, then they get mad at me for speaking out against it. I'm like, you know what? Screw you. I just don't care. Go enjoy voting for Republicans just because they're Republicans, and let them screw you in family court. It doesn't affect me at all. I'm just warning people. That's where it comes from. I've been warning people about Title IV defunding for years, and nobody will ever go look it up. Guys that are whining and complaining like little bitch bags. That's your child support's too high, and she's railing. She's just screwing me over in court, but I'm going to vote straight Republican ticket because, by golly, I'm a patriot. You're a moron and you're lazy and you don't want to face reality. You're just as numbnutted as the wokies, the communists. Sorry, I didn't mean to get off on a rant there. But yeah, Pan, I ain't going back to Odessa. Hello, kitty cat. Caleb, you're very rich, externally rich. You have your children in your life and your ex-wife is out of your life. You can decide to go set up camp in the middle of the woods. Yeah, I am. And I'm glad you brought that up. That's one I do when I start feeling like mopey and bitchy and whiny about poor me. I have to stop and realize, okay, yeah, it sucks being forced into a tent during the day if there's rain because you don't have a house to go into. Yeah, it sucks you got to climb 400 feet and walk a mile and a half to get to your car one way. There are things that suck, but you're right, kitty cat. At least I got 3 out of 4 of my kids. London still won't speak to me, and no, I won't. I can't. I'm not talking to you, to anybody. I can't go into why. Other than she's brainwashed. But yeah, I am fortunate. I got my 3 boys. Um, I get to look up at the stars through that every single night. I don't have to listen to traffic other than occasionally some motorcycles go by on the highway and like, yeah, whatever. It's occasional. I don't ever hear, I still haven't heard a siren. Not one siren, not one cop siren, not a ambulance because there's another shooting or something. I don't have to listen to any of that. There's no traffic. There's no crowds. Anytime I go to the grocery store, which is every day because I don't have a way to refrigerate food, no matter what time of day, there's never more than one, maybe 2 people ahead of me. So when I start griping about the bad things, meaning what's happened to me, I'm trying to get over it. I'm still not over being bitter about what Candace and Jason Simp Daddy May did to me and my children, but I'm working on it. And I'm hoping that once I get my ship comes in and I can quit being quite so GD broke, trying to watch my mouth, that maybe that'll help me ease it. But I do know this. I've already talked about that. Hello, Dorian Mabry. What's up, Caleb? Kathy Lucy. I'm not sure how you say your name. Just want to say hello. We can all learn from each other. Well, hello, Kathy. Thank you. I don't recognize your name, but I'm glad you're here. Pap smear. what did what they did to you was awful. Prenuptial, yeah. Well, thanks, Pat. You're right. It was. Again, I don't claim to have been a perfect person or even a perfect husband, but I wasn't an evil person. I've never been an evil person. And I don't think that what happened to me and my children was what we deserved. I don't think that at all. I think it was completely unfair, and I'm trying my best to be like, uh, it's not like I was out running around knocking other women up. Again, when we were married, we never drank. It's not like I was getting drunk and beating her up. I didn't do that. I got beat up, but I never beat her up. Hello, Sarah Jane. Did you retract your message? Haven't seen you in a while. Actually, I saw you the other day on one of my videos that I already posted. Amateur meteorologist Zachary Gagnon, Donald Trump, or Joe Biden? Are you asking me who accepts more APAC money? I honestly don't know. And even the other one, RFK Jr., they all 3 accept APAC money. So I don't know. Uh, in all seriousness, I tend to think Donald Trump is at least competent. Um, there's no, I know this is a very simplistic way to look at it. There's no denying though that gas was $1.68 or something when he left, and now it's like $3.50 or $4. And I know it's not up to the president directly or what the prices are. I'm fully aware of that. But I generally like things that Donald Trump talks about. Generally, But there are some big things that I do not like about Donald Trump, and he needs to be called out on. One of them being Operation Warp Speed. He tried to ram those darn. I'm trying real hard not to cuss. Those dead gum quack up our asses through Operation Warp Speed. He signed trillions of dollars worth of Trump bucks. He outlawed bump stocks, which is a clear violation of the Second Amendment. I'm a big Second Amendment guy. And as much as I do appreciate Trump, he did not start any new wars. I will give him that. I'm happy. That was a good thing. He's campaigning on releasing Ross Ulbricht on day one if he gets elected. That is huge to me. I've never met Ross, but I have met his mother. I've talked to her on the phone, and she's a wonderful, wonderful activist, wonderful, uh, a very well kept together considering all that's happened to her. For those of you who don't know, Ross Ulbricht was the founder of the Silk Road, and I've followed that story. Ever since he's been in prison. He's in his 11th year right now. I remember following it. He got put in prison about the time the Parker movie happened. I've just followed his story, and yeah, maybe he screwed up. I don't. I'm not going to go into everything that happened, but he was basically framed for most of it. He was convicted of running a website called the Silk Road, where goods and services were exchanged using Bitcoin. Well, now Bitcoin is on a presidential level. It's a presidential, like, if you're not pro Bitcoin, or not just president, as far as politics in general, if you're not pro Bitcoin these days, you're probably not getting elected. Me being a crypto guy, I'm grateful. I'm glad Trump is on board finally, even though it wasn't just a few years ago he shit on it. He didn't understand. He still doesn't understand it. It's obvious he doesn't. But at least he's willing to listen to people who they're like 50 million Americans, 1 in 6 Americans, 1 in 7 Americans own some kind of cryptocurrency. Ross Ulbricht was just a pioneer. He created a website and some bad things happened through his website, and there were some people that were offed, and he basically essentially got pinned on it all, and that's not, it wasn't his fault. It's like arresting Walmart because somebody shot the place up inside there. It doesn't make any sense. Anyway, Donald Trump has openly said at the Libertarian Convention, no less. Now that was weird. That he would on day one commute the sentence. And Ross was, by the way, his conviction of running a website, he was sentenced to 2 life sentences plus 40 years for a first time nonviolent offender. And I think that's crazy. That's a crazy precedent to set. And maybe what got Trump's attention is because all the looniness. I mean, of all the things you go after a guy for, hush money, to me, that is just silly. But if they'll do it to him, they can do it to anybody. But so when it comes to Biden or Donald Trump, it's not a woefully endorsing everything about Trump. I'm not one of those guys, but I don't hate Donald Trump either. And just the fact that he was willing to say publicly, promoting Bitcoin and releasing Ross Ulbricht, hashtag free Ross, that earned my vote. And even if he reneges on everything else, if he'll just release Ross Ulbricht, that's big to me. Sarah Jane, Caleb, your health is your wealth. Two, can't do okay, stuff without your health. Yes, and I am working on that. Speaking of, I'm glad you brought that up, Sarah Jane. I'm going to do a little bragging real quick. I climb, like I said, this 400-foot rise. It may not look like it, but this is level. That's way down there is where I go. I'm assuming it's 300 to 400 feet rise from there to here. Maybe, I don't know, maybe it's 500. It's a bunch. And way over there's my itty bitty junky car. And my calves, holy stuff. I've just got monster calves. So it's kind of hard for me to complain. I mean, I got these like snicker dick vein looking things popping out my shins. So I really can't complain about that. That part is, I like that part. If I can't go to the gym, at least I'm sure as hell, I'm keeping my figure. Sorry, my pillow fell down. I'm keeping my figure. I even got a I got me a chin-up bar put up there. I hadn't used it a whole lot, but I've used it a little bit. But you're right, Sarah Jane. So when I start feeling whining and bitchy and crybaby, I just need to think about my health. I do have that. Dan and Parker's grown and in Texas. Yes. For all of you asking about PK, I don't talk about him directly. Pano, what kind of business would you build? I don't know. Parker and I have talked about horse business. I can't really go into much detail. We've talked about that. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not a people person. I'm not a very good people manager, or at least I wasn't in my past. I may be better now that I've changed, but probably just buying and selling land, maybe equipment a little bit. But I want to build my own house, my own cabin. I just want to basically invest in things that go up in value, like Bitcoin or real estate, or I'm not a stocks and bonds guy. I don't like them. So, yeah, real estate, cryptocurrency, live on less than I make. So, really being out there does get tiring. I mean, it does get old. I mean, sometimes it'd be nice to just wake up in your own room, in your own cushy bed, regardless of how much it's raining, and go to the bathroom and take a hot shower, a big old dump. Sorry to be crude, but yeah, it'd be that part. I do miss it. I'm not gonna lie, I do miss that part. Lisa Werner, I've read some of your Facebook posts. You seem a much kinder, gentler person on these live streams than you do on Facebook. Which is the real you? I get told that a lot, and I'm open. I'm glad you brought that. That's a very good question, actually. Thank you for bringing that up. Facebook is a place where I go to talk massive, massive shit. I make jokes. I use sarcasm, and I try to break the rules on purpose, just merely for the purpose of showing how ridiculous a lot of the rules are. I used to get banned, like 30-day bans, for years. During COVIDs, I got banned for just stating my opinion. I thought it was crap. 2017, when I won custody of Blaine, my ex said something about not mention anything about her on my Facebook, and I'm like, I literally pulled up my account. I said, look, I think I've been banned 7 out of 12 months, and 7 out of the last 12 months. So yeah, I use it to talk a lot of shit, to be real honest with you. So the real me, I think this is the real me. If you knew me in person, there are things that I can't say, beliefs that I have that I can't talk about. But this is me. Um, I, I'm I'm not quite as crude on here because I guess mainly because it's me talking live, partially because I don't want to get a ban or I lose my funding, and people love to attack me. You just make money off your cheerings, but I don't know the people. I've got a different set of friends on Facebook. Most of the people that I'm friends with on Facebook, I've known them forever, and I don't know. It's just a different audience here. Like you go to my Twitter, and it's even way more different. Saab JCO and Caleb Levitt surpassed Mr. Beast to become the most subbed YouTube channel. Oh, I don't know much about Mr. Beast, like very, very little. I just know he's very, very popular. That dude's like way more popular than I'll ever be. And again, I don't even know. I think he's a nice guy. What little I know about it, I think Hayden follows Mr. Beast. He thinks Hayden seems to think he's a great guy. And I don't know. I've heard he's a great guy, but I really don't know. Panda, does being old make you more susceptible to the sun? I don't think so. I think the sun's healthy. I mean, I got a little bit. I've had to keep my hat on. I'm kind of burned a little bit. I think I can burn, but no, this whole notion, I don't personally, but I'm not gonna state what I think is a fact. I can say this without getting a strike. I am of the opinion that the sun does not cause cancer. The sun is the light bearer. The sun is the giver of life. Obviously, you don't want to get sunburned and where it cracks, but I just don't think it harms us. I think if we'd all be screwed without it. William Best YT, I'm finally back. Hello, Williams Best YT. Panda 90 apparently is cool in Texas during the summer. Yeah, it is. Austin Schultz, what state do you live in? At the moment, I'm in Wyoming. I'm from Texas, lived in South Florida in a sailboat for a couple years, and now, as soon as my ship comes in from the crypto investments, I'm going to be making myself a permanent resident of the beautiful, wonderful state of Wyoming. Casey or Kathy, I don't know how to say her name, Losi or Lau. I'm just going to say Losi. Kathy Losi. I live close to the center of the nation. We just had 2 days that were cold with a lot of fog, and I loved it. I'm, no, I'm not. I guess what's the center? Nebraska or Kansas? I'm not really in the center, but I'm not. I'm not on the edge like Florida. Pana 15 is still a kid. I saw a video this morning from 2020 when London was 15 that you said you didn't have to wipe any more butts. Not sure that was true back then. Blaine was 17 back then. Yeah, I mean, when I say wipe their butts, I mean, obviously I've quit wiping their butts when they got out of diapers, when they learned how. That's a figure of speech. Like if Blaine were to come up here at age 21 and asked me to change his tire if he didn't know, which he knows how. I'm just giving you an example. If he were to cry and say, "Daddy, come change my spare tire because I don't know how," that's what I call wiping their butts. Like, no, change your own damn tire, son. I've taught you how. Wipe your own damn butt, son. I've taught you how. I don't know how to say your name. Maybe the artist formerly known as Print Symbol. Hey, man. Colin Hackett, I'm back coming from Seattle. Saab JC01, shish kebab. Panda, what type of food do you eat out there? Mostly rotisserie chickens. I ate a lot of rotisserie chickens because it's all natural. They're $11. It wasn't too long ago. Rotisserie chicken was like, what, $4.99? They're $11. But anyway, it's just pure raw protein. I do get a bag of miniature oranges occasionally because vitamin C it's only in citrus. I don't eat a lot of them, but on average, I try to eat one orange a day, a small one. But if I can go a week without it, it's not that big a deal. But vitamin C is a very important thing to get because you get scurvy. And I ate more sweets than I should. Potato salads, um, basically anything that's already pre-cooked, because obviously I don't have a way to cook anything here. Braylon Barnes, I agree. Men take time to manifest. When we turn 18, we start at the bottom. We have we have much to provide resources. My uncle told me to be careful because you never know who you're going to be in 10 years. Yeah, you might want to find yourself. In addition to building up, you're talking about as far as getting married or having children. Yeah, you need to get to know yourself. I didn't know who I was at age 20. Nowhere. I mean, I know some people probably a lot better than me because I'm slow. I mean, I'm arguably autistic, but Braylon Barnes, or asterisk, we don't have much to provide. I'm not sure. I missed what you're trying to say there. Austin Wesley, any advice for anyone considering getting married? Don't do it unless you really know her or him, whichever one suits your fancy. Don't get in any rush. If you're a woman, at least wait till you're 20 to 25. If you're a man, at least wait till you're 30, 35. Men, pick you a younger one. Women, pick you an older one. Ladies, if he's got his shit together, like say you're 23, and you find a guy and he's great, he's 32 and he's got a net worth of $1 million, and he treats you nice, genuinely, and he doesn't just love bomb you. And when he asks for your hand in marriage and says, I am, sweetheart, I love you, I want to have babies with you, and I want to make you mine, will you marry me? And he says, at the same time, I have to protect my wealth because it's irresponsible if I don't. And he hands you that prenuptial agreement, just sign it. If you know him that well and y'all dated for at least a year, preferably a couple years at least, and he treats you well, and you've met his mama, and he treats your mom nice, and also doesn't put up with too much shit from your mother and will stand up to her if she's overbearing. If he's an all-around good guy and you've had an argument with him and he doesn't throw shit and throw fits and he's not an alcoholic and he asks you to simply sign a prenuptial agreement as a show of good faith, just sign it. Because I promise, if he's that good a guy and you're confident that he's worth having babies with, if he's got a net worth now of $1 million, if he's that type of guy that he's got his shit together and not had a bunch of baby mama drama like I did at age 30 with an ex-wife and 4 children, if he's responsible enough to do that at age 30 to acquire $1 million of net worth, he's probably going to be worth 10 times that in another 10 years. So if your objective is to have a fall line, what's the word I'm looking for? A safety net. If your objective is to have a safety net in case something happens, more than likely a guy who's never been married and he's responsible and he's non-alcoholic and he's not an abusive prick, he's got his shit together and he's worth $1 million at age 30, and you marry him and you bring him beautiful children and you raise them in the home and homeschool them and don't give them the jabby jabs because they're insane, more than likely by the time he's 40, he's going to be worth $10 million. And worst case, if it all went to shit and he really screwed up bad, you don't get the $1 million that he protected with his prenuptial agreement, but you get half of 9. You get $4.5 million. So I'd just sign it. I wouldn't worry about it. But the main thing is get an argument with this person before you get married. Any person, man or woman, get an argument, see how they handle it. If they do anything but during an argument, but talk it out or get quiet and go think and calm down. If they hit, break, throw shit, dump them. If that's how they're going to act when you're in an argument or debate, even dump them. Alex, up, man. I watched your videos when I was in a tough place and very young. Glad to see everything worked out okay. 23 now and in the military, having escaped toxic family. Bless you. All right. Well, thanks, Alex. Well, good luck to you, man. Be careful in the military. Times are really, really crazy. I understand what loyalty is and what honor and duty is. I get that. But also I understand politicians all too well. I'm scared. Honestly, I'm genuinely worried about the overseas conflicts that are coming up and the degenerate leaders of this country that are leading us. And just because some degenerate is higher ranking than you, like the commander in chief, is if he's a total degenerate and he's ordering you to go shoot people that you don't even know and there's no stated reason why and it doesn't feel right. Yeesh, that's a bad, terrible place to be in, and I feel for you. But thanks, Alex. Sob JC1, Dr. Dan or Mrs. Dannon shows up every day. Yeah, she does. Womp womp. Hoodie womp womping at Moo. Christian Lopez says hello. Panna Parker is a grown man. Christian Lopez, does he have a channel? Parker? No. My kids don't have any social media that I know of. They just don't like it. He's on his own now. He will not be talked about here. Yep. Yes, Parker's grown. Yes. Kristen, yeah, Lopez, there are updates on the channel about Parker versus the man. As of right now, the kids are grown. Yep. George O. Say, hopefully you have a 10 mil on you. I've got a 9. I've got a 9mm Makarov on me. I went shopping for and they have them in town, a Judge. And if you're not familiar with the Judge, it's a revolver that shoots a 45 long Colt or a 410 shot shell, which could also be a slug. It shoots either one. They're the exact same diameter and everything. And you can get them two different barrel lengths. You can get one that hold the chamber of a 2.5 shot shell, which will also hold the 45 long Colt, or a longer barrel that's got the 3-inch shot shell and will still hold the 45 long Colt. And that's what a lot of people that go hiking out here use for bear protection. Sub JC01, what is the first year for Dodge diesel trucks? If you said 1989 thinking of the Cummins Ram, you're actually wrong. I have no clue. Sarah Jane, wow, Caleb, you are in great shape. Yeah, I am. I'm not in perfect shape. I put a little bit on my belly, not too bad. But Blaine's the one that got me into bodybuilding like 2 years ago. Well, it was December of 2021, I think. So 22, 23, yeah, about 2.5 years ago. Blaine's the one that taught me how to lift and do proper form weightlifting. Scholar's Sky Full of Stars. Oh my God, hello, watched your video where your son stuck up for himself. Well, thank you, Scalara. I'm sorry, Scalara. Gabriel Mendez, hello, friend. I was never married, but yes, I went through court hell. Certainly states choose mothers over fathers, and all I can say is I went through hell. I'm not surprised. When I tell people that the family court, the Title 4D funded family courts are not there for the best interest of the child, I'm not kidding. They are literally in place to extract and squeeze out every available drop of blood that they possibly can. That is all they're there for. Never fully trust a lawyer. I don't care if he's your best friend. I don't care if it's a blood kin relative. You never fully trust a family court lawyer because they are there for one reason and one reason only, and that's to squeeze every drop of blood out of you. Now, some are better than others, and some lawyers you can tell some, but there's some things you just don't tell your lawyer because they will, if they have to, they will use it against you as well. It's just how it is. Austin Schultz, don't come to upstate New York. Stuff is really expensive here, and the laws are really stupid here. I hear you. I've heard that upstate New York is really pretty. Like you get back in the woodlands and I don't know if y'all have mountains. Yeah. Do the Appalachians run through New York? I think they do. I know they end in Maine, but I've heard it's really pretty. But I have no desire to go anywhere on the East Coast. Florida, Maine, I'm done. This is my home now. I love it here. I will visit. I do want to visit Europe, but I think I'm done traveling the States. Other than Alaska, I haven't seen Alaska yet. I would like to travel. So Alaska and Europe, maybe Australia, depending on how if they get COVID-y crazy stupid again. Um, Possibly Russia, maybe. Those are South. Forget, we're almost an hour in. Oh, we froze. I was just about to say we hadn't froze. I turned on the. I mean, damn it. I figured out how to put on do not disturb, but now it's apparently doesn't work. Let me know if y'all can hear me. This does this almost every time. Someone prank called you again. All right, Panna. Did I assume it's a blank screen? Y'all can hear me though. Is that right? And there's a 30-second delay. I get it. I can hear. I have to get going. I'll see you later. See you, Dorian. Karen can hear. Okay, you can hear. All right, we're gonna get to just a few more comments anyway. Tandy Lynn Enos. There are 17.8 million fatherless children in this country. My daughter's father hasn't paid. Yeah, I mean, are you in it for the? If you get, if you wind up having a child, man or woman, you ought to be prepared to um raise that child completely by yourself, because what if your wife or your husband dies suddenly in a car wreck? You're going to be raising them all alone anyways. So I'm a lawyer, backstab my mom. I'm not surprised. Jacob Foss says, "Hi, I think we should definitely make a point to be around your kids around the holidays." Well, if I can. I mean, they're grown. If they can. He's doing great, but I just don't talk about it. Do you think there will ever be a day you will consider marrying her again? I'm open to it, but I doubt it. I'm so jaded. I'm so screwed up in the head. Christian Lopez, I think I got Austin Schultz. That's never going to happen. New York. I don't think. I mean, I just froze up about 2 minutes ago, and usually only go an hour, hour and a half. So I think I'm probably going to end this soon. I don't know why it froze up this time, because I literally watched a YouTube video and the do not disturb on it, and I had it on the other day, but I had set it. I had it done through a timer, which is the only way I could figure it out. But I figured out how to do without a timer, and it's still just it doesn't work. And I don't know the device, but I don't have Wi-Fi. I don't know what I'm going to do about this, but it does this every time someone calls me. It does this. All right, y'all. Well, Karen, I'm sorry. I know. I'm gonna go ahead and cut it short. Y'all have been troopers. If you don't mind, hit the like on the way out, and I will see y'all manana. Consider not hitting your cheering. Take care. Bye.